And welcome to Mobile, Alabama, here at the Mitchell Center. Southern Miss falls to South Alabama 85-54. Not the result I think anybody really expected tonight, regardless of whether or not it's a win or loss. You know, you think that nothing like a 30-point loss, man. You just didn't think that was really in the remote possibility of tonight. Some of the storylines for the game, Felipe Haas, 0 points in the first half and not a lot in the second half either. I think only 3 points, right, Charlie? You have the box score right there. Really nothing went well for Southern Miss tonight. I don't think you can get a single positive away from this game other than some nights you just don't have it.
Yeah, it was definitely just not the night, just from the get-go. I mean, just throughout the whole game, I'll pull up Owen White on South Alabama was just an example. He wasn't exactly capitalizing on the shots he got, but he did hit some big threes, but he got literally 12 attempts in the corner specifically from the same spot. They were just giving them what basically they wanted. South Alabama shot nearly 60% the whole game. And, I mean, they were kind of in this situation in the same building last year, but, you know, totally different situation this year, 23-5 now. But, I mean, they haven't had a loss like this season. There's been some tough losses against Marshall, UNLV, but this takes the cake. And it's kind of, you know, concerning to see towards the end of Sun Belt play and headed into the, you know, conference tournament. It kind of, I think, got exposed on some weaknesses. And this could be a team they might face. I mean, South Alabama is on a hot streak. We do have to point that out. But they just got totally outclassed.
Yeah, no point in this game where Southern Miss ever able to really run what they wanted to run. We just got through talking with Jay Ladner. He said he thought Felipe, you know, passed up some shots. But not only Felipe, I mean, Austin Crowley, I mean, what was his final stat line? I mean, 7 points, I think. You know, Victor Hart led the team in scoring with 10 points with his 6 minutes of play time. That pretty much tells you all you need to know.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it was truly the offensive struggles were the story of this game. Defensively, they got exposed. We can definitely admit that. But when you're not putting points on the board, it doesn't matter. You know, obviously Jay Ladner does tell us that, you know, they had to scramble a little bit on defense, change their defense to try and get those turnovers after you're down so big. So obviously it's the offense for them. And it wasn't even just they weren't taking bad shots. They were just not making them. You know, they were pretty decent offensive possessions. The one thing I noticed big time was the energy immediately that South Al came out with. Right. They were ready. They came out and punched Southern Miss in the mouth, and that's something you got to expect. We all talked about this possibly being a trap game. No one could have expected it being like this, but it really was the energy and the offensive struggles for me.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what Nathan just said. You know, we all thought that this would be a tough game for Southern Miss, regardless of South Alabama's record. Never easy to come on the road. We've seen that in the Sun Belt this season. But just totally outplayed in every facet of the game. I mean, there was no facet of the game where Southern Miss won tonight. And, you know, there's really just not much more to say other than they were just outplayed in every facet of the game. Charlie, you know, you look at this game and, you know, you were kind of saying it before we turned on the camera. It seemed like South Alabama had so many open looks tonight that even if they were shooting a little bit better, I mean, this could have been even a worse margin of victory for them.
Yeah, that's why I started off with Owen White on South Alabama. Just from the start, he was getting open looks. And, you know, he wasn't making them, so, you know, kind of tempting him probably. Did hit some big ones down at the end of the first half, kind of got going. But 4 of 13, and like I said, 12 of those at least were from the very exact same spot, the left corner. Just seems like they were getting their spots, their open looks, and if they shot, I think they were at 30-something from the three at first half. Even, you know, add 3-4 more of those as makes if they're shooting, you know, at an average level. I mean, it would have been 25 points at the half. So, I mean, just nothing went their way. We don't want to repeat ourselves, but this was a game, you know, going in that it just kind of felt like that trap game because they've been on kind of a favorable home swing. They played Louisiana, obviously, tough team. Lots of quick turnaround for Saturday. They kind of showed some not rust, but just kind of sluggish in that start of that game. So heading onto the road, obviously, a big test against a team that is on a hot streak. And just like any sport, you know, you catch a team that's hot, you get showed out like tonight. So headed back to home, final home game, senior night. That's going to be a big deal. Southern Miss is still basically just one win away from kind of securing that double bye. So obviously this might have implications down the road, but that's what they're trying to get to, is that double bye. So, you just skip those first 2 games, and that will be interesting to see, who they get paired with down the road. But yeah, that's the number one motive or mission right now, is to secure that double bye.
Yeah, I think all tonight did was just knock them out of it was a long shot anyways, but I think tonight just solidified that they have to win the tournament to get to the NCAA tournament. That large bid was kind of a long shot, and now I think that it's completely out of vision there. Another thing about tonight was that there was at no point that we have a little visitor. There was at no point where Southern Miss. It was even when South Alabama was getting open looks, like Southern Miss was getting those open looks. They had the looks. They just weren't able to hit shots. And not even to mention that they had 12 turnovers in the first half, and South Alabama had 11 points off those turnovers, and that pretty much just sealed the deal. There was a point in the beginning of the second half. Felipe Haas got an and-one 3, and-one 2-pointer, and then the 3, and then the free throw. And you kind of were like, okay, so they're kind of settling in. But then from that point until 11 minutes in the second, like an 8-minute span, Southern Miss did not even score a point. And you just can't do that on the road. South Alabama could have been shooting 20%, and they would have still gone on a 10-12-0 run with that. You have to score points in basketball. Nathan, how do they kind of just put this one behind them and get ready for, Jay Ladner's talked to us all season about, man, he hates these quick swings, but he just told us that he's actually glad it's a quick swing.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with him on this. This is one of those ones you kind of flush. I don't even know if you watch the tape on this. I'm not a coach, but for me, this is one of the ones you just kind of you look at the bad things and you just forget that happened. Yeah. That's the best thing I think you can do in this situation. Look ahead. Everything's in front of this team. This game wasn't a win or lose. You're done for your season. I think they realize that, and I think they understand. Obviously you never want to lose, but maybe this was something they needed. Maybe this was something to expose them, to kind of maybe say, all right, we're maybe not as good as we thought we were. Exactly. I don't want to say like they got the big head or nothing, but that's something that can really play in sports. So obviously the losses, exactly.
They have been on a lot of highs, right? They've been on a streak. They welcome in Louisiana, like we were all there and saw what that was, and they've been on a lot of highs. And they just kind of, I actually said on our podcast, I think it'd be good for them to lose. I didn't picture this, and you never want to wish a loss on anybody, but as far as Southern Miss fans are concerned, at least this didn't happen in the Sun Belt tournament, and now their season's over, right?
Exactly.
So, right.
And so Jay Ladner said that's what they wanted. They want to go undefeated at home, so that's a big goal of theirs,
For sure. All right, well, we're going to get out of here before they kick us out. So that's Charlie Luttrell. That's Nathan Lee. Southern Miss loses 82 to something. 54.
Which was the first time they were held under 60 this season, so.
It's a long night.
85-54.
85-54, excuse me. Yeah, 31-point victory for South Alabama. Thanks so much for watching. Once again, Charlie Luttrell, Nathan Lee, I'm Dewey Mixon. We'll catch y'all next time.